Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Rams.
I'm kind of I'm feeling like I should have had some sort of like woolly mammoth hat or something.
All right.
Like
Okay. So I also have.
oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Vanessa delivers.
You need costumes. You need toys. I'm your lady.
That's amazing.
So this
Yeah.
little baby can hang out with us for the
Yay.
stream.
You just have that? That's amazing. That's so amazing.
I do just have this.
I think we have one around here somewhere too. But
Do you have one too?
Yeah. Well,
I
Nicholas.
feel like I need one.
No, because Nicholas has like my son has like probably like 200 different stuffies
Oh, really?
that he's like he still loves, and we let him keep them because like why give away stuffies? But I think there's a mastodon in there somewhere, a woolly mammoth or something. I don't know.
Fantastic.
All you would need, Garrett, is a
Some
trunk.
tusk.
Yeah.
I already got the woolly part down.
You have like maybe a vacuum hose or something. Or...
I do have my CPAP mask. I could use that as like a trunk. Maybe.
Oh my god,
yeah.
yes. I have clay. I can make tusks for you right now.
Oh man.
And send them through the screen.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. That's chaos magic, right? That's it.
Well, welcome everybody to our special edition of WUFO.
Yeah.
We're excited to talk about Mastodon in a venue in which it would be welcome. We're really excited about it, and we're happy. We are really we want to kind of help people find their way to it and get on it, and so we also are extremely excited to have Vanessa here again with us. This is your second WUFO.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
So yay. Vanessa is the proprietor. I don't know.
Proprietrix?
Sure. Perfect. Yes.
I like that. Yes.
Weirdo.network, which is our the server that we're all on. The server or instance, like they're used interchangeably in the world of the Fediverse. I kind of like instance, actually.
Yeah. The instantiation.
Yes. Yeah.
See, I like it from playing WoW, where like, oh, this is instance content. So
Oh.
Just
hey,
it's
everybody.
fine.
We got some
Friends.
awesome. I see. I'm looking through my magic looking glass. I see Jared and Kai and Rachel and what was that show? We talked about it before.
Oh, I can't remember.
Romper Room.
That's what.
Yeah, it's a Gen X thing, I think.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Did you ever see it, Vanessa?
No.
It was like a little kid show, and the host would look through this magic mirror or magnifying glass, and she'd say like, "I see Kevin and Garrett and Jane and yeah,
She sees me through the TV."
So when are we all going to make magic magnifying glasses? Because that's what I want.
Yeah,
really badly. Yeah,
that's a good idea.
We have one. Hooray!
Yeah.
Do you see us?
Oh, hello everyone. So, I guess, do we have any like standard business? We have a special message. Should we play that now, or?
Yeah, do you want to do that now?
Yeah, let's do it.
So we have a special message from one of our friends. Let's see. Here we go. I'm going to put it in.
Hello, everybody. Happy WUFO. I'm like so stoked to be able to pop in for a minute. Life has been pretty hectic for me. A lot of really good new changes. New day job. It's a little demanding. I'm on call a lot, but I'm photographing and it's really cool. Moving. Going back to my roots a little bit. yeah, it's gonna be really great. This next chapter. You know, and I'm thinking about all of this, and I'm a huge people pleaser, and so for a really long time I've kind of navigated through things of like, what would other people want me to do, and it was up until recently I had a pretty big like rude awakening, and an opportunity for a fresh start is what we'll say. And so that's given me the opportunity to look at things very differently, and taking some much needed time for myself right now, and I'm just trying to figure out how I can be the best Bex that I want to be. And the creepy, fun, haunted adventures may not be as frequent. I may not be able to participate in as much, but I think it just makes the ones that I do, and especially like the spontaneous last minute ones, all the more special, if you will, right? So that's kind of how I'm navigating through things right now. But I'm really excited for this new chapter. I'm really excited for Morel season, which is happening right now. It just started. I'm excited to move this ridiculous amount of film cameras that I have. No regrets. And I'm just ready for this new chapter, and I'm excited to see how things continue to grow with WUFO. I'm excited to see how things continue to grow with each of you. I'll hop back on social media eventually, but for now I'm taking that much needed break and trying to focus on my mental health and rebuilding. And I just want to say I appreciate every single one of you, and I miss you, and here's to hopping on again soon. Oh, look at this. Are you ready? I got the original WUFO shirt on too. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right. Have a good one, guys. Until next time.
She's such a peach.
I know. Dear friend Bex.
Yes. No. It's so cool. And we hopefully, and I think she's kind of interested too in doing more regular messages like that. I think one of the issues right now is that she's in a location with really bad signals. And it's just like no really good broadband or anything like that. So but yeah, but we still talk to her all the time, and she's doing great. And so yeah, that was really exciting.
Yay! Yay, Bex! I don't know anybody who has more contagious enthusiasm and joy.
Yeah.
Right? And she's in the middle of moving too. She's like, which is like the most like terrible,
stressful. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about. I do have a special report, but I'll wait until afterwards.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
we'll do. Let's talk about Mastodon.
Yeah,
Bex was talking about social media, and Vanessa's here, and yeah, we've been mentioning it a lot in WUFO, but I think there is an interest from people to explain it a little bit because they felt confused by it. I think some of the people in here, so I think it was just an opportunity to get back to the basics and like explain why we think it's so interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And I was saying to Vanessa earlier too, we're not like approaching this like you need to leave Twitter immediately. Mm-hmm. Like we know there are plenty of reasons to stay there, but we really have enjoyed Mastodon, and so we wanted to like basically try and make it a little more clear on what it is and how it works and how it is similar to Twitter and how it's not similar to Twitter. Also, if you have an account there already, how to like make it a little more useful and a little more because I get really nice levels of engagement there now. And I think like Garrett does too, although with Garrett I think it's mainly with like ham radio people.
Nerd.
Yeah, it just drop the word Linux anywhere too, you'll get like
but yeah.
pro tip right
there. It paints a picture of the community.
So we're recording this too, as always, and we're gonna have it available. So don't worry about like taking notes or anything. But we thought it would be fun to actually um, walk through setting up an account and like showing it off by sharing the screen and stuff like that. Do you want to, Garrett? You wrote this like awesome text that I think might have sent to somebody you work with, that I think had a lot of good thoughts. Do you want to share some of those? Because so we have an agenda. We're so serious about this that we made an agenda, people.
Well, we had ChatGPT write the agenda. To be fair,
we actually did. Yeah, and it did a great job.
It did a pretty good job.
Yeah. So we're having fun with ChatGPT lately, and I apologize in advance to anyone who's not a fan of AI. But we use it for good. For programming weird stuff and coming up with agendas. So yeah, so sorry, I stop talking for a moment and let somebody
well, that's kind of long. I don't know if I can just talk about that so generally. I think I guess I could talk about basically what's different about it than Twitter. Maybe is I think that's interesting. Is that so? There's oh man, okay. So you may have heard of this concept of Mastodon. You may have heard of Mastodon, and that is kind of that's just one app in this whole world of other apps that can all talk to each other. And it's just the easiest one to maybe understand right out of the gate because it kind of feels like Twitter. And really what's going on is there's this new technology for people to communicate, basically having an inbox and an outbox of like status updates. And so so that can be more than just like Twitter. It could be like, when you upload a video to YouTube, that's a status update. Or when you put a picture on Instagram, that's a status update. And so there's all of these new like alternatives to all of the big socials that all work together in this new thing called ActivityPub, which is what Mastodon uses. So I'm probably making it more complicated. I don't know if I'm explaining it very well, but the idea is that basically you just think of it as oh man,
like email.
Yeah, I think email is a really good way to like a similar thing is like it's like it's at the level of email or HTTP almost. It's like it's one of those kinds of things. It's not just another website like Twitter. It's like a whole new technology that lets you kind of broadcast that you updated something and let people subscribe to those updates. And Mastodon is just an easy way to get in there because it feels kind of like Twitter. And that is kind of makes sense to a lot of people who've already been there with Twitter. Yeah, and so I think
like old Twitter.
The old Twitter. That's a thing that I really love about it is that it reminds me of the first time I got on Twitter and how exciting it was, and like the kinds of conversations feel more like that early version of Twitter. I think the other thing though that's really different about Mastodon is there's not like mastodon.com that you get an account on. You can get an account on like tons of different kinds of servers, just like you can get tons of different email addresses. You can get a Yahoo email address or a Gmail address, and you can talk to people at any of those other email addresses. Basically, you can do that with Mastodon or any of these other technologies.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, so it's decentralized, I think is
Mm-hmm.
way to put it. Did you mention yet that it's called like the Fediverse?
Yeah, so they call it the Fediverse.
Yeah,
this network of all of these different apps like talking to each other
mm-hmm.
and federating. So I think like if there's one of them is nefarious or bad, you can say nope, we don't want to get any content from that server anymore, because anyone could just make one. They can just
Mhm.
we did Vanessa did
Yeah.
just put one up, just created weirdo.network, and now we have one.
Yeah.
And from there we can subscribe to anyone else at any of these other ones unless they're at a place that we've decided no, that's they have
Mhm.
content there that's we don't want coming in.
Mhm.
Uh.
Yeah. So I'm looking at our agenda here.
Gotcha.
And I think that something else that is worth mentioning is that we're all very used to and comfortable with like the idea of centralized social media platforms. Like you have a Twitter account. Twitter has like a moderation team and they have their own rules and guidelines and stuff that you're supposed to adhere to. But it's like so huge and so central that like enforcing those, I mean, yes, Elon Musk coming and taking over Twitter was like awful and pretty much destroyed it in many ways for a lot of people. But even before then, it had like some major issues. Like there's always been like hate speech and spam and all of that kind of stuff. And with a with a decentralized network, it's easier to make it a safer place for people and make it more accessible for people, because instead of like I'm going to block a user, you could block that user's entire instance. If they don't, and so another big difference I think that is that like the owner of the instance in this case and like the moderator and the admin of weirdo.network, like the moderators and admins and stuff, like you're looking at them.
Yeah, literally, this is the moderation team right here.
So, if you like our style and you like the things we talk about and you like hanging out with us, then you could join this instance. And people who are on the instance right now have similar interests as the rest of us.
That's another thing is, and if you don't like what we do, you can actually move to another server or make your own and keep
Mhm.
your followers and bring them to your new server. So
Mhm.
you have control over that instead of like being upset with us and then just having to move to a completely different platform and beg your friends to come to it.
Right.
Like you can just either talk to us and say we need to do something, we need to change what we're doing because we're not moderating well enough, or we need
Mhm.
different rules, or you can just leave and make your own or go to someone else who does fulfill your
Mhm.
needs. So there's a lot more control that you have as a
Mhm.
user of this.
And it's also worth noting that you can have accounts on multiple instances. I have two. I have one on Weirdo Network, and then I have one on like the place I work has one, and so I can kind of keep those interests separate. And then they do cross over. Like I'll see stuff from each other's feeds, but for the most part, it's nice because I can. It's not like Twitter where you follow who you follow, and even if you have a second Twitter account, you're still probably going to see have the direct connection with the same people. Like you have it's very flexible that way. And so you might have like one, like you might do Weirdo Network, and then you might find an instance somewhere that's like all there actually is one, and I'm not bringing this up because of Garrett, but there's one for ham radio people. Like there's, and so you could join that instance, and then but the instances talk to each other, and that's what federation is. So you're not just seeing there was a misnomer or a misconception a while back that you'll only see posts from your own instance. And that's not true at all because of federation. Another thing I was thinking of that's a good analogy that I've heard of is it's like a flotilla of boats. And you can tie yourself up to any other boat that's in the flotilla, and you can wave to people who are on the other boats that you can see. Those are the ones you're federated with, and you can move your boat around to get closer to other boats. And then if there's a boat that's full of like turfs or shitheads, then you can like sink them as far as your instance goes, and not have to put up with that. So that's another good analogy I like, is the flotilla analogy.
Well, and especially because you've preemptively sunk a ton of instances that are known for incredibly hateful and toxic behavior.
Yes.
And it's great because it's like I never have to see any of those people in my feed, in my search, in my discover. That's all gone. Like it is gone. It is gone, and nobody on the instance will ever have to engage with that or see any of that.
Yeah, exactly. Which is great.
Yeah.
And there's a list. It's been around for a while, and so there are, we are coming into a community that already exists, and so we're trying to be very respectful of that. But also the people on Mastodon, like the interactions I have there, are like 1,000 times cooler than most of what I've seen just random on Twitter, like other than the people who you interact with on Twitter. So if you have like a question about something, literally you just post at like tag somebody and they'll answer and they'll be like, oh yeah, sure. Like nobody's ever made me feel like an idiot for not knowing something, how to do something,
Yeah.
yeah. Am I missing anything? Do I?
There was a question about how it's paid for. I don't know if
so yeah, we have a Patreon for it. I am not logged in, so I can't drop a link in chat, but I can probably drop a link in private chat.
Yeah,
it costs perfect. Here, let me make sure I have the correct link. It costs about, well, the costs have gone up, but it costs about $45 a month right now to run. And we have people have become patrons already, which I'm incredibly grateful for. All right, there's a link.
I'll put it up.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, it's and it's great too because again, like I said, you're looking at the moderation team. It's us, and you don't have to wear cool headgear. We're all just very cool people. And I forgot what I was going to say because I was thinking of cool hats. But another thing too is that like if there's ever a problem, like so one of the increasing costs has been as we get more users, as users post more photos and images, our image cache sometimes hits 100% and then nobody can post anything. And it's usually right after there's like a Mastodon update, a software update. You just slide in my DMs, you can text me, you can email me and say like, hey, there's a problem. Like, again, you're looking at the people who will go into the terminal and the server and put some code in there and reset it and make it work again. So like that I love, that it's just like, oh, it's down, now it's not, like I fixed it.
Yeah, I think like I remember people were like, oh, Mastodon's down, and I was like, I don't think they realized like ours is just down, like Mastodon. Right. Yeah. Like plenty of people are using Mastodon right now. It's just that ours is down.
Yeah.
So like
exactly.
I think it's just that you have to change your mindset of how this works a little bit. It's like we're kind of the gateway into the into the Mastodon world through this. It's almost like your email address. It's like I am Garrett at weirdo.network. That's almost my email address. It's my like Mastodon address, and I can like receive and some post from that account. And if our server's down, then I can't anymore.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to improve that as we go further. Yeah.
And Kai was saying they put some of these links in the Discord as well. So if you want to find the links, then you can definitely go in there as well. This is I want to bring this up. I think maybe we should get official t-shirts for weirdo.network, and they should say weird one twerk.
I am so into that. Please.
So one other thing I wanted to touch on, like before we get into like the meat and potatoes of it, and we'll probably talk about this more too when we do the actual like demonstration, is you're not going to get as many interactions as you have on Twitter for a lot of reasons. The main one is that you've probably been on Twitter for some of you for decades or a decade at this point.
14 years just the other day.
Wow.
Yeah.
How are you coping with that? How are you?
Not well. Not well at all.
But if you think about starting any new account on social media, you'll never have engagement at the beginning. And it took me like a couple weeks, probably before I even started getting the hang of things. But now that I have it, it's such it's so much more of a pleasant experience. And the thing to underline at this point is that there's no algorithm. So there's an algorithm on Twitter, there's an algorithm on Facebook, there's an algorithm on YouTube. Everybody knows this basic stuff, and it chooses what to push at you. And technically it's supposed to be the stuff that you're interested in and the stuff that you like, but it's also whatever advertisers pay for. The algorithm will show you whatever people are thinking. Like, I think based on my own experience, I'm kind of feeling like the algorithm on Twitter right now is like pushing stuff out that people really despise, so they'll react to it. And on Mastodon, you don't have that. And so it's good and it's bad. It's good because without an algorithm, you don't have to worry about like, there's a very large like anti-advertising, like DIY, like almost like punk rock like feel to it. Because if you don't like that stuff, like, you don't have to see it. But on the other hand, the drawback is that you have to actively do stuff to get engagement there. Like, you have to talk to people and you have to put content out and you have to follow people and you have to do hashtags, and we'll talk a lot about that later, but it's worth keeping in mind that I think a lot of people make these Mastodon accounts and they go on and then they're like, nothing's happening. Like, I'm not seeing anything. Like, nobody's interacting with me. And that might be the case for a little while, but the more that you put into it, the more interaction you're going to get. And there are ways to increase visibility of your stuff and other people's stuff as well, which we can talk about.
It reminds me of when I was a teenager, I got an email address for the first time. It was like our family email address. And I was so excited. And I had like, I think it was like Groovy Ghoulie at the grid.net or something. And I was so excited, but I knew 0 people to email. I had no one to email. So I just started making up email addresses, like people's names, like John Smith at, and I was like trying to get people to talk to me because I didn't know who was out there. I didn't know how to talk to anyone. And it's kind of like that at first. Like, you have to go out and you have to make engagement. And we'll show you some tricks to like find people and find your interests, but
and even find your followers on Twitter,
right.
Which miraculously one tool is still exists that you can use to do that, for sure.
Yeah, but at first it will just feel kind of empty until you actually put some time in.
But if you join weirdo.network, like, your friends are there already. We're there. We're doing stuff. Like, you just start posting shit. Like, we'll reply to you. And the more that you reply and the more the engagement you get, the more, you build your own algorithm, basically.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is like humans are the algorithm too. Like, the way things move around is by people boosting, which is like retweeting. So like, that's how it kind of spreads. You have to make something so compelling that someone else will boost it for you, and it moves around the different servers. So we, as humans, we're the algorithm, and people are more friendly about that because they know that is how things move around. Especially like, I have a question: does anyone know how to do X and Y, Z? People will help boost that for you because they realize they need to boost it in order for that to get around.
Yeah, exactly. And the interactions might be a little less at first, but in my experience, they've been more genuine, I think. Kind of like, it's not a place where people are going to try and sell you stuff. And if somebody's trying to sell you something there, like report them, because I shouldn't say that actually, because one of the other
the moderation reports.
That's right. No, but one of the other things that I think it would be really cool is one of the other things I think is really cool about Mastodon is that right now it is currently at a point where we can really get in there and make what we want to out of it. And if the problem that someone has about moving from Twitter to Mastodon is that they're a creator and they won't get sales, that is extraordinarily valid. Like, people make their living on Twitter, and that's a really good reason to stay there. But how can we work actively to make that happen on Mastodon? Like, that's up to us to do. And so the more of us that get in there and like dig in and start putting our work out there, the better chance that can happen. So there you go.
Real quick too, I want to just address Jared's comment. Posting YouTube links or even posting videos doesn't slow things down. There's some interaction that happens with a server update plus our image cache, and so it stops refreshing essentially. So I just have to go in or one of us goes in and does a hard reset, and that clears the cache, and you can go ahead and post some more. That's the issue. We have plenty of bandwidth. We have plenty of server space.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
You guys think that was a pretty good intro, or should we?
I do. I mean,
anybody...
one thing I do want to say is that, so again, to talk about cultural differences, of course I turned off my phone so I don't have the agenda up, but like, Twitter is it's a little hellscape that we all call home. You can ship post and all sorts of things. You have to be a little more delicate on Mastodon, right? This is why we have the soft woolly mammoth here. So as a reminder, you got to be a little softer on Mastodon, and you have to be a little more delicate too, or gentle, I guess, and cautious with posting. So that's why we ask for content warnings on images that you want to post. There's apparently a whole kind of federation, loose guidelines out there to follow, and that's just because if it veers from a little snarky to inappropriate, there is a risk of being defederated, and then suddenly Weirdo Network is on that ban list that goes around, and you're not going to be able to connect with other servers. So sometimes we have to make hard calls on content because we know what the Fediverse is kind of expecting of us, and we don't want to cut off the rest of that universe from Weirdo Network.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think content warnings, you brought that up, and people are really they won't reboost your post if you post an image without captions describing what's text. In the alt text. So you have, so I think it's so cool though, because it makes it for a lot of people who have disabilities where they can't see as well, or they can enjoy Mastodon the same way, and it's like a first level thing when you post an image to put in your content, your alt tags or whatever. So and content warnings are a really big part of the culture there.
And we'll show you how to do all those too. So yeah, cool. Well, do
you want to show how to go through it?
Yeah, let's do it. I think it's kind of fun. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. All right. Boop. Ooh, look at that. It moved us over automatically.
Oh, cool.
Fancy.
Yeah, this is exciting. All right. So we're going to set up a new Mastodon account on Weirdo Network and show everybody how it's done. If you already have one, you know, some of this will be familiar with you, for you, but we're also going to talk about like how to use it and how to get more engagement and stuff. So hang tight, and you know, there'll be content for everybody here. So it's just weirdo.network. Maybe should we banner it?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. And so you go to weirdo.network, and actually let me go ahead and get to the root
You
here.
mean weird one twerk?
Yeah.
So if you go to weirdo.network, this is the first thing you're going to see before you have an account. And it's going to be, you know, basically all the posts that people on Weirdo Network currently are putting up, but also the servers that we're federated with. So you can see here, you'll just see, I don't know, I'm not going to wait for it to load, but there's a lot of stuff that's here. This is what you'll see. So, you know, you're not just seeing stuff that's from Weirdo Network. So, you know, Robert Reich, he's kind of a big guy, economist, politics guy. And he's on masto.ai. That's his server. So you can tell what somebody's server is by looking at their little address here. It's like an email address. So there's another one that journa.host. Mastodon.social. Mastodon.social is the biggest one. That's where it started. The guy who came up with it, that's his. I don't know if they're accepting new members right now on Mastodon Social. It kind of goes on and off with the bigger servers because sometimes they just get like huge influxes from Twitter all at once, and so they have to like cut off access for a day or two. But there's servers for, if you have an interest, then you can find a server for it. There might be only 2 other people on the server, but that's okay because you'll federate with other servers. So so if you want to start an account here, what we're going to do is we're going to go to create account. All right, so the first thing you're going to see are the ground rules. And I should say too, if you are joining an instance and you don't see ground rules like first thing, look at the content on that instance before you join it. You know, solid instances should have, you know, ground rules. And so these are the ones, I'm just going to skim them real fast for everybody. So we allow not safe for work content, but you have to mark it with a content warning. And that goes for images or text. You know, just put NSFW, you're all good. Offensive content or slurs, you know, are not allowed. Pronouns has to be respected. We do not allow dead naming or misgendering, and that results in an immediate suspension. Every attempt should be made to include alt text and image descriptions when posting. We'll get back to that a little bit, but we do kind of encourage it. It's not like a hard and fast rule. There are some instances where you might not have alt text on an image, and you know, we're always willing to entertain exceptions, but for the most part, you should try and include it there. No incitement of violence, no harassment, dogpiling, doxing, etc., and illegal content is not allowed. I mean, you know. So the first thing you have to do is accept the rules. So we're going to go ahead and accept. And let's get you set up. So we have one. We're going to set one up for WUFO. So
Hey!
yeah. So what do you think? Should it be WUFO? Should our username be WUFO? Or what do you think?
Yeah, WUFO, last name Twerk.
Yes!
I don't.
Sure. And then we'll have WUFO be our username and the email
We
address.
just work a merchandise, you know? Just work.
So many merch opportunities here. This is awesome. And I think we just did intro at WUFO.watch, right, Garrett?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then a password. Nobody look.
It's not showing.
I know.
Okay.
Shrimpy lives 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not what it is. Okay, and then you have to read policy. And then we click sign up. So then we're going to have to, yeah, I'll save it for myself. But then we're going to have to confirm the email address. So let me just do that real quick. Doop-de-doop-de-doo. Oh, shoot. I thought I'd already logged in. Hang on. Nope. Stop it.
And
Everybody's-
yes, to the Earth
everybody's
in chat,
looking at, like-
please make a twerk talisman, please.
Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to verify the email address. And doopy-doopy-doo, magic in the background. And that's it. That's it. It's created. That's all it takes. So the new account is here, and now the first thing it is follows people you'd like to see posts from. So I'll follow Garrett. I'll follow Neil Gaiman. Sure. I'll follow Moon, who was here.
We're not seeing that. I'm not seeing that.
Oh, you're not?
Yeah, we're still on the confirmation screen.
Oh, okay. You know what? Let's try this.
There you
Better?
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's follow CJ, Daily Grail, George Takei. You kind of have to follow. There's a lot of people on here, like Neil Gaiman's on here, and yeah. So I'm just gonna follow some accounts I know are fun. I'm not gonna follow God. I try not to in general. But I'm also gonna do it here. And then we're gonna say done. It's preparing our home feed. So this is going to be the home feed. And there we go. And now we're starting to see content. So I've already got a notification. Hey, we got our first follower.
Yay.
That's awesome. This is all pretty customizable. So you can customize like the color. This is dark mode. There's a light mode. This is the desktop app. So this is what you're going to see in any browser you use. There's also a lot of third-party apps that are fantastic. I use one, my favorite. It's called Toot with an exclamation point. Toot. And it costs like $5 or something, but it allows me, it's on my phone to switch between all of my accounts. It'll even allow me to switch between 2 accounts on the same server. So like the Liminal Earth weirdo.network account and like my own personal one, I can just do them out of the same app. It's like TweetDeck. It's like TweetDeck, TweetDeck. I don't know, but there's a lot more apps out there too that are really nice. What were you gonna say, Garrett?
Yeah, there's one called Ice Cubes. It's free.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
So here's a great example of. I hope a hermit for hire doesn't mind me using him as an example. So he's on Pagan Plus, but this is a great example of like a post that has a content warning and a sensitive content warning. So this is, I don't know if I'm going to show this right now because I don't know if everybody watching is okay with it, but this is what it looks like when somebody is respectful enough to hide something that might be triggering for someone, which is great. Book Folk of the Fediverse, Pluralistic has a new book coming out. So you can see like there's all kinds of good content.
And this is like the people that you follow and what they're reposting.
Yes.
So like that's what this is. This feed specifically is people you've subscribed to, and anything that they are reposting is on this home feed.
And that's home, and that's going to come up first for you every time. And now if you only stay with your home feed, you're not going to get as much engagement as you would if you explore the other feeds. So there are 3 feeds. Should we talk about that next? Or
yeah, I think.
So there's 3 feeds. There's your home feed. But what I love the most, I think, is the local feed. Now, the local feed is all the people who are all the accounts that are on your home network and the accounts that are on networks that those people are federated with, that we're federated with too. Would that be a good way to describe it?
I think local is just weirdo.network. I think.
Is local just weirdo.network?
I think federated is the one you're thinking of.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Darn it.
Yeah.
I strive for clarity, but sometimes. Yeah. So if you want to see what your friends are posting, this is
Just
the
on
place.
Weirdo. This is just people on weirdo. You may not be following them specifically, but they're on weirdo.network.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So you
Anyone
can
with
see
a weirdo.network account who's posting this in this feed.
Yeah. So you're right. Federated, I was wrong. Federated is more like the Wild West. Federated is every instance or server that we are federated with. It's all the boats that are tied to ours in the flotilla. And we can see their content. This is also where you are more likely to see content that could be problematic in the federated feed, just FYI. But if you report something from this feed, we see it and the moderators of that server see it and can then choose to take action on it. 9 times out of this is not the only instance I'm a moderator for. The other instance that I moderate has way more reports. 9 times out of 10, probably more than that, 99 times out of 100, if I get a report about somebody who's not being nice on another server, their admins take care of it for me. I don't even need to worry about it half the time. Because it's you want like people who will take kind of quick action to help you moderate so that you don't get defederated. So report. So those are the 3 timelines: home, local, federated. And you can follow, let's see, so I'm going to go local. It's super easy to follow people. Let's follow Wolfie. We're just going to click here, and am I not already? Oh, where we there? Go to their profile and follow. And now Wolfie is in our list of the people that we follow. You can also expand the post, copy the link to the post. You can bookmark. You can @mention them. You can direct message them, although DMs, direct messaging on Mastodon, are different than anywhere else. They are not kept secret from the admins. Like if you DM somebody and we get a report about it, we'll still be able to see it. Just something to keep in mind if you're going to be DMing with people.
Yeah,
it's still...
I would not DM anything that you would. I would be careful about DMing anything that you don't want other people to see.
Yeah. And then you can also mute and block people from the and report them from the direct feed, from the timeline, from the local timeline. If you have a larger issue with someone, you go to their profile, and then you can hide their boosts. So it would be like if somebody's boosting a real lot, like if there's people on Twitter and all they do is retweet, you can hide just the boost. You can hide just the retweet so that you only see their original content. I think that's really cool. You can feature them on your profile. You can create lists here, just like you can on Twitter, which is a great way to sort of cultivate another community. And of course, you can mute, block, and report from here as well. Yeah. Am I missing anything with timelines? Does anybody have any questions before we keep going? No? Okay, so let's check out how we might find followers. So thankfully, I'm going to share this tab instead. So one of the biggest issues people often have with joining the Fediverse and joining Mastodon is like, well, I have to go back in and add all my Twitter followers. Like I have to do that. And it's like, well, yes, I mean, you had to on Twitter too, but there are ways to make it easier here as well, thanks to the Twitter migration. This tool that I'm about to show you, nobody knows how long it's still going to be around because Twitter actually cut off their API. And so most of the third-party apps for finding your Twitter followers and followees don't work anymore. But for some reason, this one still does. And so maybe we want to put the link into it. Is Fedi Finder. bettyfinder.glitch.me. And so I'm hope. Oh, here, let me log out. Okay, so I'm going to authorize Twitter, and you do have to let it log into your Twitter. And I'm not sure which of my Twitter accounts I'm logged into here, but if it might be the Liminal Earth one, that'll be fine. So authorize the app. Bloop blop. And now it's going to search, and it's going to tell me what instances my Twitter contacts are on. So for Liminal Earth, like Mastodon.social, there's Weirdo.network, which is live, Pagan Plus, Mastodon World. And so it's just going to show you. So you could be like, oh, I've got like 8 friends on Mastodon social. Maybe I want to be on that instance instead, or, you know. Then you want to publish your handle. So if you are still on Twitter and you want to be involved in Mastodon more, have your Mastodon handle somewhere in your bio on Twitter. Because this app reads that and will go like, oh, that's a Mastodon address. I can use that. And then we're going to scan, let's see, scan our followers. And so I just rescanned it because it had been a little while since I did it last. So you can see it's like scanning all of these accounts and generating a list of all of the people who touch your account on Twitter, followers, followees. Let's see, is it done? I think it's mostly done. So then you just export a CSV. Doopy doopy doo. It's thinking. I'm going to open this. Oh, darn it. It's opening in Excel. I apologize.
No.
How dare you make us have spreadsheets during WUFO? How dare you?
Terrible. All right,
What have we come to? First we were talking to aliens, now we're playing with Excel.
No, I don't like it.
So it's not going to show it. I'm just not going to show I'm not going to share the Excel spreadsheet. It's boring. But what I'll do instead is go back into setup now. And then I'm going to share this tab. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go to preferences. And it's going to think for a minute. And then follows and followers. It's been a while since I've done this, so I'm pretty sure this is where it is. Okay. And then do you remember where to import
Oh, and
this?
there's an import export on the left
Oh
side.
gosh, that's right. You're right. Import and export. And so then I'm going to import. Then I'm going to choose my file. I apologize in advance for slowness.
This is also where you would do when you if you move, I think.
Yeah. If you move servers and you want to keep your followers, then you export a CSV from your old server and import it here. So there you go.
And they will also be redirect, people to the new server when they go.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's it.
There you go.
That's it. Your data was successfully uploaded and will be processed. And so processed in due time happens pretty quickly usually over here. And then here we go. Now they're all going to be there.
Amazing.
And then of course you can go through and you can unfollow, but like that. So now that's it. That's all of our followers from Liminal Earth are now, like, the ones who have Mastodon accounts are here now, and we're going to see their content from now on. So it's a lot easier than it seems. And if you are confused by this process, let us know, because I'm happy to walk anybody through this at any time. And then here are the found. I'm just looking at all of this, the stuff on Fedi Finder because it's such a cool app. Where is it? Share this tab instead. Yeah. So here are the found handles sorted by their instance. So look, it'll show you everybody who lives on weirdo.network who it found. And then, you can follow. If I click that. Oh, ignore that. Ignore that. Oh, wow. It just killed the screen sharing for me.
Oh, I thought you did that dramatically.
No. Okay. Anyhow, it's a fun tool to play around with, and it's a great way to find people to follow and find people who, follow you, and it makes it a lot simpler than going through one by one and trying to search for everybody. So, yeah, cool. So that's how to find followers. What next?
I think maybe hashtags and like looking for other people.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Hashtags are like a pretty important. There is not like full text search.
Oh, sorry.
Because a lot of people don't want their content like search indexed and stored. In fact, that's one thing that will get you defederated. Is there are these people like trying to like make a search engine that searches all of the Fediverse in order, and they may have a noble cause because they want people to be able to find each other's content. There's a lot of people who do not want their content search indexed because a lot of times that stuff is like used to like build up data profiles about people, and they don't want that to be stored and saved, and they don't consent to it. But you can search by hashtag. So if you intentionally hashtag something, you can find other people who are talking about the same kind of stuff. And that's how I found a lot of people that of mutual interest.
Yeah. And so we'll explore hashtags. So you can see here are the current trending hashtags. And you can click on one and you can follow hashtags. So if for some reason I wanted to follow unwritten country music lyrics and always see when somebody posted that, all I have to do is boop, and now we're following it. So now anytime somebody posts with that hashtag, it'll show up in our home feed. I'm going to unfollow that one. Yeah. So one of the, let's take a look at, so yeah, using hashtags is really important. And I actually lean towards, there are different opinions on like how many hashtags are too many. I tend to lean on the heavier side of adding hashtags. But your mileage may vary. Let's see. What was I going to just look at? Oh, the profile. The profile is wufo twerk. The profile is very straightforward, very cut and dry. You can lock your account here. You can let people know it's a bot account. There's this weird metadata section, which I don't really understand, but Garrett, you're muted.
That's if you want to say like for label there, you'd say my website, and the content would be http google.com. And then another thing could be like label my pronouns, and you could just put your pronouns in the content. So you can kind of, it makes like a table. You only get 4 of them, so you have to choose wisely.
Yes.
But, they're kind of like, they could be anything. Has a label and what it goes to.
Yeah. And then you can verify yourself, which doesn't really mean much other than, yes, I have a website and here it is on Mastodon. But hey, you don't have to pay $8 to do it. And you still get to edit your posts.
Exactly.
All right. So let's go back to Mastodon. So one of the very first things that's important to do if you want to increase engagement, and it should be probably one of your first posts, is to publish an introduction post. It's not a requirement, but it's a great way to get people to find you if you use hashtags in it. So let's just do a little generic one. Hi, this is the official introduction. And so you can see the hashtags. Introduction is used 357 times a week. So you know people are actually following that hashtag. So that, and introduction posts also often get boosted a lot.
Yeah. So this is kind of where you would put the things that you're most interested in and why other people might want to follow you, because other people will boost it. I will, if I see introduction posts, I boost them because it's usually a new person who wants to find other people.
If you
you want to help people find their friends.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
UFOs or
Twerking.
Yeah, we're twerking.
give us a follow. So I'm going to edit this eventually. But actually, while I'm creating a post, I'm going to talk about the content warning stuff too.
Yeah, put something spicy in there behind the content warning.
Yeah, exactly. So this is CW. You'll see this content warning, and I think in different apps it appears. It can appear differently. It can. I think some of them even say like add a content warning or something. But if I click this, it's like basically what it is I'm writing a subject to an email, and I'm hiding the content of the email in case it's like triggering to somebody. So I'm going to put content warning example. And the cool thing is, let's see. You can do it on images too. So I'm just going to upload a generic image. So this is what it looks like when you upload an image. If it's sensitive, then you check the media as sensitive. This is automatically checked because it's under a content warning. But if I were to remove the content warning, I'd have the option to, and re-upload it, I'd have the option to mark it as sensitive. The other thing that's worth mentioning here that it's important to do is this is where you'll add your image description or alt text. So you just edit your image. It's got a great feature that it will detect the text from a picture. It's kind of touch and go for me. Like sometimes it works really well. Sometimes it's gobbledygook. But it's worth doing if you have text in your picture. I'm just going to put abstract AI image of a UFO-like object over a rock in the desert. Why? And that's that. That's all you have to do. Your image descriptions don't need to be super long or complicated or anything like that. But if it has one, you're going to get a lot more posts boosted. So, all right. And now I'm just going to hit publish and we'll take a look at what it looks like. Home, federated. Where did my profile go? Here it is. And so here's what it looks like. Content warning example. And then there's the body of the text. And then there's the image. And then the alt text will show up if you hover in the web version. Yeah. And the other thing we can do is edit this. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm used to the app and I'm using the web browser version, but you can pin this to your profile. So pin on profile. And then if your introduction post is pinned on your profile, it'll always be there just like on Twitter. And that's going to be the best way for you to start finding people who will find you by hashtags. So yeah, there we go. So there's some notifications. Oh, we've already been boosted. Thanks, Jared. Yep, and we're already starting to get followers. Look at that. Look.
Yeah.
Magic is happening. So what did I miss? I'm looking at our little agenda thing. Boost a lot. use hashtags, content warning, alt text. There are a lot of different philosophies on content warnings. Some people use them a lot for things like pictures with eye contact can be triggering to people who are like on the spectrum. So some people, if they have a picture of somebody, like a selfie or something, they'll do a content warning that says eye contact. Pictures of like food can be triggering to people with eating disorders. So some people put food as their content warning, and it's not a big onerous thing. It's like you're doing it to be nice. You're doing it to be courteous to people. Like choose the path of kindness. And that's one way to do it. I'm not as strict about certain content warnings, like probably not as strict as I could be. But it's something to consider. If this is something and you're like, this might really actually bother somebody now that I think of it, stick it behind a content warning. It's not the end of the world. They just have to press a button to see the content.
I think you can even change in your preferences to say, like, I don't ever worry about seeing content warnings, just show me everything.
That's
so you
right,
can turn it on. You can turn on a setting so
Mhm.
that you don't have to click through content warnings if you don't care.
And of course you can make lists. So, if I make a list, add a list, there it is. And then I can add people to the list from their account, or I can do it kind of manually too. I'm not going to just do that yet. Yeah. Gosh, is there anything I missed? Oops. Oh, you can edit. I think I showed that earlier too, but you can edit stuff. So we're going to edit.
You should write in here that we are doing like this live on Woofo right now.
Oh, that's right. It doesn't recognize some of the newer domain extensions.
Yeah.
So you have to add the HTTP. Then save changes. Yeah. I think that's kind of the meat and potatoes of using the actual app. Did I miss anything, or does anybody have any questions?
Oh, you should also put a picture of your app profile and you can put like a bio, and because people might think you're like a bot or something if you're not.
Yeah.
So it's probably a good idea to put that stuff in, maybe even before you start following other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll just put some placeholders in. I'll probably go in later and change all of this, but we'll use the same guy. One thing that I've seen people use these profile metadata for are image descriptions for their profile picture and header, because you can't add them otherwise. So let's see. None of this really matters that much right now. Let's do this funny thing. This is a IO. Oops. Hello, world. We are here. Hopefully my images were proportioned correctly. Oh, it's still thinking. I'm like, click, 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 click. Yeah, changes successfully saved. So
can you go and can you look up like this is, I don't know if this is going to confuse people, but maybe could you look up your weird words account through Mastodon to show how that, explain how that is working basically?
Yeah, do you want to look at weird words first?
Yeah, maybe go to weird words and then we can come back here and you can see.
So do you want to, I've been talking a lot. Do you want to talk about what weird words is and how?
Sure, I'll just, if you want to pull it up, I'll just talk real quick. So weird words is another activity pub based application. So it's another thing on the Fediverse, and then we set that up. Jeremy and I set this up. It's basically a blogging tool, kind of like Medium or WordPress or something. And It also connects to the Fediverse, and so it's just weirdwords.org. Jeremy has a blog here called Jeremy Puma. Here's his blog posts.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
these are just the titles of them, but you can click and see the posts.
and it's so cool because it's like old school blogging.
Yeah, it
This
feels
is
like very
what my blog looked like in 2004. Like
it feels so good. Yeah.
and we've even got away, even though it's not being currently used that much, but we figured out a way to add comments to it using Discus. I don't have them set on this post, but so you even have like the potential for commenting there, but you don't necessarily need to because this is on the Fediverse. It actually is something you can subscribe to on Mastodon. So let me go back. So I'm going to search. Oops. Sorry. Hang on. Where is my search thingy? I use the app so much that. So if you go to Explore, it'll show the search thing. So I think this will bring it up.
Is that your account? I think it's
Mystery Harvest, isn't it?
I think it's Jeremy Puma.
Oh, is it? I wouldn't remember my own name if I didn't have Garrett here. There we go. So now I can follow my own Weird Words account. And anytime I post a blog post, anybody who subscribed to it, the post will be right there. And people can comment on it there, share it, boost it.
Show up in your main home feed.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So like people, so that's an example of like, because all this stuff is really just like, they're very similar things. Like it's just a title with some text and maybe in a media or attachments.
Exactly.
And that's all this stuff ever is. Like that's all Instagram is. That's all Facebook is. That's all YouTube is. So people are building like YouTube, something called PeerTube, or there's something that's kind of like Bandcamp, and there's something that's kind of like all of those big things.
Goodreads. There's like a Goodreads alternative.
Yeah, it's a Goodreads. So when you update reading a book, this one's called Bookworm, I think is the name of the Fediverse version. So if I said I finished this book, it will just update. If someone was following me from Mastodon, they could see that, or they could go to Bookworm itself and see it there. Like Mastodon's just like a view. It's like one view into this world, just like Weirdo.network is a a gateway. Mastodon is just a small. It looks a certain way, just like when we looked at Jeremy's blog post. It looks a different way. It's styled different, but it's all underneath. It's all the same.
Yeah. So this is. I just signed up for this. This is PixelFed, which is the like Fediverse version of Instagram. So you just it's for sharing images and pictures.
And I was thinking it would be so cool to have. I mean, I know it's getting ahead, but like a paranormal Instagram where it's just like people's orbs, or like that's all it is on your local feed, would just be that kind of stuff. Your ghostly apparitions, like that was where you posted that stuff. You could have an Instagram, a pixel fed that is just that stuff.
Right. And another cool thing too about PixelFed is, so one of the things about Weird Words is that it doesn't have built-in image hosting, but if you have a PixelFed account, you got the images right there. So there you go. Yeah. And you just pull them from there. And there's a lot of really cool stuff on PixelFed right now because it's so like new and fresh and sort of indie. Like some of the stuff I'm seeing on PixelFed is like way more like, look at this. Look at that. Love that. Cool. I think that's pretty much it for stuff that I would need to share the screen for. Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Vanessa, is there anything you wanted to talk about, like about why you made this server or anything anything else?
Sure. I mean, I started the server the way I start most projects, which is out of spite. Because like why we're friends, right? You know, like Twitter, it's so funny because again, like I said, I just got the notification a couple days ago, 14 years on Twitter, but it really wasn't until the beginning of the pandemic that I felt like I found my people.
Right.
And then with Musk taking over, and I mean, especially now, like the For You panel is mostly unusable at this point because they are boosting a lot of hate and you know, right-wing talking points in order to get engagement. Because again, so many people are leaving Twitter, so they have to fake the metrics somehow. So I wanted to create a home for anybody who wanted to leave Twitter. But didn't want to lose all the people they met, because really, like, some of the people I've met during the pandemic are some of the people I like the most, you know, out of my friend group. And I wouldn't have found them without Twitter. So there's that, like, again, love for this, I was going to say slowly, but quickly dying platform. And instead say like, hey, okay, especially because Mastodon, especially when I first started looking at it, it really is overwhelming. There are all these different servers, you know, all these different instances, not knowing where to go, different rules, especially when there was that like initial mass exodus and people were just trying to find a home somewhere. So yeah, and then thankfully Weirdo.network was available. So it was like, okay, great, done, easy. Branding is there. We're all weirdos and we want to stay networked.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of those things too where I understand if people stay on Twitter. I mean, I'm still on Twitter, right? It's by instance that I'm still on Twitter a lot. But it's just nice to know, like, hey, if you want to hang out, come hang out with us. We all like weird things. We don't put up with BS. Again, if there's an issue with the instance, you literally can talk to any of us at any time. Again, if you have questions about any of it, or if you're overwhelmed or don't know where to start, ask us. Like, again, if I have a research background, if I don't know something, I will look it up. Between ADHD and a love of research and some slight codependency, if you need something and ask for help, I will probably drop everything and help you. Yeah, we don't put up a bigotry at all, so that's pretty good too. Yeah, that was my that's my ramble about why I started it.
Yeah,
and it's cool because I know one thing that's happening right now, that there's a lot of buzz on Mastodon, is that there are a lot of like social media companies that are like, Mastodon, how can we take this up, make like Meta, I think, is going to start their own instance, and I think Microsoft is going to have one. But guess what? Like, we can block them. If we don't want like Meta's shit on our server, then goodbye. Like, that's it. Like, it's up to us, you know.
Yeah.
It's really cool because again, that power to just, I think this is ultimately it. Look, I'm working out the trauma and psychology of it as I'm talking. Especially when Musk took over and everybody was talking about leaving, and it felt like the rug was being pulled out from under me. Like, it took me years to find all you people, and now you're all going to be gone, and I'm never going to talk to any of you again, or I'm going to have to try 3 different social networks to keep in touch with everybody. I'm barely on one. So then it's like, wait a minute, you can all just hang out here, right? And if you want to leave, that's fine. But you can all, like, I know where you are. And we can hang out and share content and keep in touch with each other, because again, I feel like I have met a lot of really kind, gentle weirdos, and I don't want to lose all those folks.
Yeah.
That
whole the rug being pulled out from under. There was an article going around a couple months ago. I can't remember the author's name, but she was talking about how like there's been these migrations when this has happened. You know, MySpace and I can't remember the ones before. Like, but there's what's that?
Friendster.
Yeah, and it's just like
LiveJournal,
right? LiveJournal, and just like that feeling of it getting pulled out from under you. And I think Elon especially has this kind of like arrogance about that, like, deal with it, you know, and gaslighting you a little bit as a lot of it, as he comes in. That really pissed me off. And it sucks to have to keep moving around because of their interests, and not, you know, us as a group of friends.
Yeah.
And so and I love the fact that he cannot just come in here and like buy it up. Like it's like trying to buy email, the concept of email. Like he can't take that away from this. This like prevents that from happening. So I think that was like a big sell. Once I realized that, it really clicked for me. Like maybe we don't have to keep doing this migration every 5 years when they get bored. And
that's it. It's billionaire proof, basically,
right.
and like and venture capitalist proof, right? Which like I'm very excited about that, and I like that. And again, there's no algorithms, there are no ads, right? Because we pay, you know, all the patrons and I pay to keep this server running, right? So you don't have to get weird sponsored content in your feed ever. Ever. It's really nice. It is perfectly curated. Again, that the idea that you can suppress boosts and only see original content from some people. You can curate your feed in a lot of ways. And it's yours. It's your home until you decide to leave and go to another home. But you can still be connected to other people that you have found in your community. So yeah.
And it's also like I mean, like if you've followed kind of what we've been doing in our general philosophies, is like we're so big on trying to increase accessibility for everything. Like we want to make things more accessible, and Twitter has become even less accessible. I mean, you have to pay just to get two-factor authentication now. I mean, like there are big celebrity accounts who didn't pay, and so now they're hacked. And you know, if you like, I guess the Duck Dynasty guy, like one of the Duck Dynasty guys, somebody hacked his account using it to like scam people into thinking they're buying laptops. And like Twitter won't do anything about it because there's like 2 people now who work there who take care of this kind of thing.
Again, now if you email the press account at Twitter, the autoresponder is a literal poop emoji. I mean, the disdain, the absolute disdain for users, for the general population is off the charts, charts.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So
yeah,
here's what I try to do, and what I would challenge, or what I had tried to do when I was still on Twitter. Because I'm not, like, my personal account on Twitter is locked down now. I'm not there anymore. But what I would challenge everybody to do who's staying there, because again, like if you stay there, like no judgment, like there's totally valid reasons for being there. But find a comfortable ratio. Like try and do every 3 tweets, post something on Mastodon. Like every 3 times you follow somebody over there, follow somebody over on Mastodon too. Like just try and the more I started doing that, the more my ratio started adjusting, until the point where I was like, you know what, I'm not even visiting Twitter anymore. You know, we'll probably keep the Liminal Earth account up there for a little while, just for PR purposes. But you know, even the posts that we're posting from that account, like they're not getting engagement anymore because it's just a mess. But find a ratio, find a comfortable one. Maybe it's like every 10 tweets you do 1 post on Mastodon.
Right.
I'm really, really, really fighting hard to never call them toots.
That is the one drawback of this.
Oh, come on, you guys.
I'm sorry, Garrett. I'm sorry. I can't back you up on that one.
It's like a trumpet toot. It's like
All right.
It makes it a
it's
little
cute.
better.
All
It's a little better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the issue with Twitter right now, that because I think there's that instability of like, how bad is this going to get? And a lot of people have left, and if they're on less, because it's that I mean, God, I just remember like the grief that rippled through the community when Twitter was sold. And so yeah, my video's off on my end.
You're good.
When you okay, thank goodness. You're not going to engage as much if you're constantly waiting again for that rug to be pulled out from under you. And also they have manipulated the algorithms. So unless you are paying for for the privilege of using that dumpster fire, like your tweets are getting suppressed. That is every single social media network, like space. Unless you are paying for content, your content is getting suppressed. They are never going to boost your content to more than 10% of your audience. So yeah, as opposed to, you can find things organically, you can experience things organically on Mastodon. And again, I'm still on Twitter. I'm not like anti-Twitter. But it's different, and it does take some getting used to. So
I think I'd say I'm anti-Twitter, but I'm not anti my friends who are on Twitter.
Yes, right.
But it would we have like, I think like, and I know I'm like thinking big here, but this is like, it's a really cool opportunity for us to like make something. Like, we're big on DIY stuff and like being playful and having fun and creating things that encourage kindness, and like this is a really cool opportunity for us to do that, and it doesn't take a lot of like extra effort. Just send a toot for every 3 tweets.
And it's like
you lost me, Jeremy.
I'm an anti-tootite.
Click. Yeah, again, it's a matter of prioritizing, and it's a matter of it's just making a choice, right? It's easy, it's comfortable, even if it's a trash fire. Your friends are there, even if they're not on as much. It takes effort. It takes effort to build something new. But I am also a DIY kind of person. I always have been. Part of that is the ADHD, and if I can make something more difficult, I will. But yeah, it's but I think has the potential to be really, really something.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something, Garrett? You had.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I love that it's really our own, like we own, it's like ours as a community, and like we can make this whatever we want, and it's just, that's so exciting to me, and it reminds me of like being in like DIY music scene, and just like just having wild ideas with your friends and putting on shows and events, and like you being in control of it completely instead of beholden to other people. It resonates with me, and I think also the community that's been there for a while skews like, there's a lot of techie people, but a lot of like a lot of queer people, neurodivergent people, and disabled people there, and it's just like, it has good vibes. If you go looking around, I feel right now, and I don't know if it'll always be this way, I get good vibes and friendly vibes there. And the interactions have been so great. Like I think I've mentioned on the stream before, like I put a call out about this this ultrasound bat collar thing that I built from a kit, and I got so much feedback from like weirdos on Mastodon who like record bats. Like there's a whole community of people that are like into ultrasound field recordings, and like somehow I found them, and they were all like, "Oh, you should do the," like telling me all the what I should do and how the best way, but like in a friendly way, not like in a splainy way. It was great. I was like, "Whoa, this is so cool!" Like, I love. I just that's one of the things that sold me. I think is like, wow, my people right here. Yeah. So, anyways, I think you have to put some effort into it, though. Unfortunately, I think to really get some traction. But I think I'm excited. I hope people come try it out. Like,
Yeah. And we're still giving away, I mean, weird words. Like if you want a weird word blog, like if you're like a kind weirdo, then like just write us an email, info@liminal.earth, and say, hey, I want one so that I can write about toenail fungus. I don't know. That's fine. Yeah, whatever. We'll give you one. Like it's for free. I mean, we want more people to avail themselves of this kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Cool.
Well, I think that's about it for. Is there anything else?
Does anybody have any of the viewers have any questions they want to type in? We had some non-Mastodon stuff to share too, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I have the banana thing I could share real quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the stargazing side quest tonight's pretty cool too.
Do you want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll just mention it. So the stargazing side quest on wufo.watch, if you go there, you'll see a link to it. So our friend Madeline, every week they post a new side quest. They're an astrologer, a fantastic and amazing astrologer, and super into the stars and astronomy. And they've been teaching us to kind of look up, not just for UFOs, but like at the stars and stuff that are in the sky. And tonight's is, I guess there's something called the Messier Madness or something like that. Messier objects, which I guess are like galaxies and dust clouds and things like that in the sky. Amateur astronomers and sky gazers around the world are having marathon. That's it. Messier marathon. Are going outside and trying to find as many of these objects as they can. And so they've written a really nice detailed post on how to find them, and those posts are all archived too on wufo.watch. If you ever want to, if you're like, I don't feel like stargazing tonight, like go there and look up the stargazing side quest and you see if you can find out what's there. So I'm gonna go out and try and see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Right, that's why I looked over. I was like, is it still cloudy?
Yeah. No, I think it's actually clear out here tonight for the first time in a long time.
I was just going to show, this is just like a little quick video.
I hope that the Twerk Talisman
I want to see it so bad.
Just posted, preferably on Weirdo Network.
Yeah, posted on Weirdo.network.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Okay.
yeah, the video, yeah, that would be. I'd love to see it.
This is day one of the mystery of the Banana Bandit here in Bremerton.
It's been reported on Facebook that there are hundreds of banana peels in this one location. I'd say there are about 35, 40 here, that's a significant amount of banana peels for no apparent reason. So what's interesting about this spot is, and what made me even more intrigued to come here, is that it's right next to Bremerton's most haunted location. If you look, Bremerton haunted, this is the place that shows up. That building. There.
So I just talked to a neighbor over here, Isabel. She lives right next to the banana peels. He was telling me about this old hospital that burnt down at one point, and apparently there is a secret tunnel underneath it that goes all the way down to the Navy shipyard. So that's creepy and fun. I would like to go down there. She said it burnt down at one point, but it still has a creepy vibe in her mind. So what do the banana peels have to do with a haunted house? And I don't know, is it a way to get attention? Is it an attraction of weird phenomena in a certain location? Is there a correlation at all? I think it's interesting that that's where this banana peel thing is happening. It's almost like you know how like in the middle of the ocean, all the plastic kind of collects into one location, like the floating gyra of garbage out in the Pacific Ocean? It's kind of like that, but for like paranormal stuff, maybe. Maybe that's like a portal or nexus point where weird stuff collects. It's kind of like a compostable ectoplasm.
Yeah, so there's apparently some kind of banana instantiation happening in Bremerton. And I talked to the neighbor and she said I could put a trail cam up. So I'm gonna see if it's human based or, as I suspect, non-corporeal. Yeah. So I just think it's weird. I've always wanted to investigate that spot because it's kind of like a well-known haunted spot. And I think there are a lot of the flu victims from 1918 that were in that spot. And like if you search, that's like the number one spot. And so it's weird. It is weird to me that this is also where these banana peels are just like amassing. So as you all know, weird produce is a big theme that we have.
That's how I knew that we would all be friends, really. Because I have the photo of all the apples I saw just in the train station in a row, and I knew, I'm like, this is a fairy trick. I knew immediately, like, don't take it. But between the oranges and now the bananas, that's pretty incredible.
And the oranges are back.
They need potassium.
Yeah, the oranges
really?
are back. Yeah, they just came back recently.
We gotta go.
Awesome.
It was like the same day that weird ball showed up in Japan on the beach.
Yeah.
It was like a giant, I don't know, like sphere.
Sphere?
Yeah. And as I think John figured out, it's the same day, like 200 years or like 100, I don't know, century from when a big sphere landed on the beach in Japan, and then like a woman came out, or like some kind of being. So like, yeah, like there's something's going on.
Yeah, no question.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about tonight?
I wanted to mention that friend of Liminal Earth, Karen Malady.
Oh yeah.
Has a game that she is trying to get off the ground. And it looks really cool. And we're big into games right now, because that's what is right in front of us right now. So I put the link down here. And the Kickstarter will be kicking off in April, I think. It's really cool. It's a TTRPG about using runes to divine the romance and intrigue of a mythical land inspired by Irish myth. So it sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, definitely check it out. And when the Kickstarter starts off, maybe support it. I'd love to hear more about the progress you're making on the parking lot game, Garrett.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this.
I don't even know if Vanessa knows about this.
I do not. I am very excited.
So we've been talking about these like one-player role-playing games that are kind of like writing prompts, kind of like meditations, and kind of getting into your subconscious imaginal world. And so I got real excited about these, and I started downloading it. We played one on here too, on WUFA once. But I had this idea for one that kind of is like our Liminal Spirit Oracle, but I was thinking about vacant lots and parking lots and how we could enchant them, or like kind of engage with whatever like creature has been locked away by the asphalt, and like kind of like let them come out. And so I came up with this idea of like, okay, how can we like enchant them? And so I actually used the new garbage-omancy. Yeah, I actually used the new Chat GPT. There's a new version of it, and I said, hey, I want to do this game. This is like what I want to do, and I want to use like divination, make it kind of like a role-playing game. And it gave me back all of these ideas, and I was like, what? But it wanted me to use like tarot and stuff. I'm like, how about you just use what's in a parking lot? and it came up with this idea for using license plates as bibliomancy, and it came up with this whole system that was amazing. Like, I think, like, so it was like, if you know the first letter on the license plate you find is an A, that is like it corresponds to an attribute of like maybe like, you know, it's benevolent or whatever. Maybe I haven't figured out what I'm going to do exactly yet, but like say it's benevolence, and then maybe there's a number after that, and that's its power level. So like it's benevolence 1, and then like, you know, like some feature of the creature now is like the next letter, and then also the power level or like the level of that, you know, if it's like tall or small or whatever, you know. So the basically using the license plates to describe what you're encountering. I'm just like, this is so amazing. Came up with all these other ones for like using the cracks in the asphalt for like the design patterns, and it told me what, like, you know, splits and parallel lines, what they should mean. It basically wrote the whole thing for me. It was crazy. And, you know, you have to prompt it a little bit to kind of get it to go where you want. But it had this other idea too about like the nature of the parking lot based in like how, you know, which way the rows of the parking lot go. Like if they're which way they're facing, if they're like in circular patterns or if they're straight or if they're really disorganized, and also like a scavenger hunt for objects you find in the parking lot that kind of like a trash oracle, which I had just done this podcast about, like using my interest in trash and the paranormal. And this is like about using what you find there to kind of interact with what's there and like, you know, maybe write something or do some kind of meditation to engage with the creatures there. And I think what the coolest thing would be is if we maybe like added this as a thing on the Liminal Earth map, and that other people could go there and try to continue to engage with that same creature, like a Pokemon Go kind of thing. Because I feel like we've noticed as you go to these places and you feed them and play with them, they kind of play back, you know, and they respond to you. And they're just parking lots or like vacant lots that are not being used. And it would be so cool to use them as like this magical place. Every one of these crappy parking lots, turn them into something magical. I don't know. I'm really excited about this right now. Obviously, I'm like manic.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm immediately obsessed again from a dopamine deprived brain standpoint. I'm like, this is amazing. How can I help?
I know. I just want to like get it. It gave me I mean, I know people are wary of ChatGPT and all that stuff, and I am in some ways too, but it gave me so much to just start from, I think, and just like to like, it really helps me. It's been helping me, like, because like sometimes it's hard for me just to start something, like sending out a newsletter for this today. It wrote the first draft and then I can edit it, you know? And so it's really great for that, to get over that initial hurdle of just like the start of something. So for this, it just gave me so much to work with. I'm really excited about it, and just the possibilities and seeing what other games people come up with. I think it will be really fun.
Yeah. I still think it would be fun to like come up with a way to do it like right in front of Amazon headquarters or something like that. Like people just start showing up and like, we're here to see the parking lot creature. Like
no, totally.
Parking lot.
Yes.
Oh, chalk drawings. That's a good one.
Oh yeah. That's an excellent idea.
Yes.
Yeah, and I agree with the Chat GPT thing, because I think there's a lot of similarities between like summoning spirits in a grimoire, like, and because you have to know the right prompt, you have to know the right like algorithm in order to get results and then find this information. So I kind of look at it like that. I've been using it to write. It's not ready for prime time yet, but we've got a rudimentary working online version of the Oracle of the Hypogeum, our Oracle deck. I don't know how to code, but ChatGPT does, and so I just gave it all the prompts, and like it built the damn thing for me. So I put it up on GitHub, and you know, now all we have to do is like mess with some CSS, and it'll be ready to roll pretty soon.
Yeah, I think
That's
Tim,
amazing.
our friend Tim, wrote this whole thing about how he's not really a coder either, and he was suddenly making these websites with it, and how empowered he felt. Like, oh my god, I have the tools now to do this stuff that I've like never been able to do.
Mhm.
And maybe it's
Yeah.
not the best code, or maybe there's problem, but it works. So like,
Yeah.
you can actually like play with the, make it real. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's pretty exciting.
It is. And I do acknowledge though that like there are issues with it, like especially the art, like the pay artists, like pay artists, like
Right.
that's um
Mhm.
but I think like as a tool for this kind of experimentation, like why not just use it? It's there. Somebody's gonna have to do it. Like we've got to.
Yeah.
If what it's taking from the inputs that we put into it, if that helps it like evolve or become more complex, then like the people who are nice and like ethical need to use this stuff more.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's all I had for this week.
I think so. Me too. I think we might, since we started early, I think we're probably gonna.
Vanessa, is there anything you want to plug that you're working on, or?
Well, I mean, I have been making scale mail for the professional wrestler Cody Rhodes. That's the greatest thing I think I've ever done. So watch WWE and see my scales. It makes me very happy. Let's see what else. Well, the Patreon we posted already for Weirdo Network.
Let's do that again.
You're on, perfect. And again, there is zero obligation to chip in anything. The whole point was to create a space for free that you could join in. If you want to contribute, obviously it's much appreciated. It helps cut down on costs, especially as more people join up. Again, when I first started it was like $20 a month, and now it's creeping up on $50 a month. So any little bit helps. Like I said, not expected. Again, you can find me pretty much anywhere at Kali Butterfly. KaliButterfly.com is the kind of the local place, and then all my other social media, everything is there. My podcast is Personal Pants. Sorry, it's like everything I work on now. Here's the list.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
Great. Only child. I'll talk about myself. Yeah.
I'm not
so
only
my
child, I'm 202, so there you go.
Great. Yeah, I'm finally like working my way through like a backlog of my episodes for the podcast Personal Pants. So follow
Awesome.
that everywhere. I have also on Weirdo Network, Kali Butterfly and Personal Pants podcast. So you can keep track of me in several places.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming to join us and for starting Weirdo Network. It's so cool.
I know, it's so cool.
Really great.
I love it. So
Yeah.
in case you can't tell.
Well, again, and I just want to just thank both of you so much for helping moderate and for really helping build the thing. Like I said, my initial inspiration was out of spite, and so I created it. But like, really, you two created the space and set the terms and made it like a place that I would want to call other people into. Like, here's your new home. So thank you both for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my approach is to the whole like philosophy behind it is creating a space that I can kick people out of.
Why are you me, Jeremy?
It's true. Not that I would do that to anybody who's here watching this right now. But that being said, I do want to reiterate though that if anybody has any questions about how to do it, or even wants like a walkthrough again or something like that, just let us know. Reach out, like message in the Discord. I'm happy to help people figure it out because it's cool. Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody. Do you want to play? Should we play Bex's video one more time for people who didn't see it earlier? Or
Yes.
You want to do that?
Okay. No.
you don't have to.
You can do it here.
There are more people here now than there were earlier. So
okay. Here's a little message from Bex, and then we'll be out.
Yep.
Hello, everybody. Happy WUFO. I'm like so stoked to be able to pop in for a minute. Life has been pretty hectic for me. A lot of really good new changes. New day job. It's a little demanding. I'm on call a lot, but I'm photographing and it's really cool. Moving, going back to my roots a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna be really great. This next chapter. You know, and I'm thinking about all of this, and I'm a huge people pleaser, and so for a really long time I've kind of navigated through things of like, what would other people want me to do, and it was up until recently I had a pretty big like rude awakening, and an opportunity for a fresh start is what we'll say. And so that's given me the opportunity to look at things very differently, and taking some much needed time for myself right now, and I'm just trying to figure out how I can be the best Bex that I want to be. And the creepy, fun, haunted adventures may not be as frequent. I may not be able to participate in as much, but I think it just makes the ones that I do, and especially like the spontaneous last minute ones, all the more special, if you will, right? So that's kind of how I'm navigating through things right now. But I'm really excited for this new chapter. I'm really excited for Morel season, which is happening right now. It just started. I'm excited to move this ridiculous amount of film cameras that I have. No regrets. And I'm just ready for this new chapter, and I'm excited to see how things continue to grow with WUFO. I'm excited to see how things continue to grow with each of you. I'll hop back on social media eventually, but for now I'm taking that much needed break and trying to focus on my mental health and rebuilding. And I just want to say I appreciate every single one of you, and I miss you, and here's to hopping on again soon. Oh, look at this. Are you ready? I got the original WUFO shirt on too. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right. Have a good one, guys. Until next time.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye. Thanks for hanging out.